Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, folks. Michael Zuber, one rental at a time. It is the Three Amigos. It is a lot of fun. I hope you guys enjoy the channel and enjoy this series. Dion, video number one is all about you. You sneak off to Alaska, you leave us for a week, and then you come back and you drop this bomb on all of us. Why don't you tell the audience what's going on? Because they need to hear it directly from you instead of having me steal your thunder.
I think there was a day where you went into work, Mike, and you went in at 8.
Mm-hmm.
You were expecting to work another, I think, 5 years.
Mm-hmm.
And you were running a division, and your managers above that division put a bunch of stuff on your desk that you said you didn't want to do. And they basically said, deal with it.
Yep.
So you left at 8:45.
Exactly right. Yes.
And never went back.
And never went back.
Our company was dealing with something that was kind of challenging. And so for the last month or so, I've been battling that, literally meeting with attorneys and brushing myself up on like the read interview interrogation techniques to get some meetings done right. Went into work Tuesday after coming back from the cruise, had a meeting and solved that issue. Like literally victory, knock it out of the park, home run, solve all the problems. Great day.
Nice.
So I quit.
So I have a horrible day of all horrible days and quit. You have an amazing day and you quit.
It go out when you're on top, I guess.
Yeah. That's so I gotta ask, because I've had this moment, right? I had this moment between 8 and 8:45. Did you know going in, if you knocked it out of the park, you would resign? Like that was already a set of dominoes? Or were you in that meeting, you saw what was coming, you saw victory, you felt relief, and you're like, today's the day?
It's pretty close to that, because I knew if the meeting didn't go well, I wasn't going to talk about retiring with anybody, because there's enough on the plate of everyone dealing with this, literally a state agency attacking our company.
Mm-hmm.
And by the end of the meeting, I had them defending us, supporting us, and figuring out how to help us. And I was like, that's such a victory that this is the time. I've set this company up to where there won't be a void when I leave. I've trained a great management team to take over for me. It was just the right timing. It was not an easy conversation. It's really weird. I mean, if you hate your job or you're having a bad day, you're kind of like, ha, I'm out of here. I love the company. I love the coworkers, the people, the owners have been great to me. Like there is no negative aspect to the job.
Yeah.
I've been financially independent for 4 years. 2018 could have quit. It's just time.
Yeah. Because I remember that moment. I remember in that meeting having a moment where I was arguing or I was basically had 3 things thrown my way, 3 things I didn't want. My new boss it was a bad environment. I remember thinking, how can I get out of one of these? And is that going to be palatable? And then in a second, just seemingly out of left field, my brain went, you freaking idiot. Just tell them you're done. Get a package, agree to say nice things, get your money, done. And I remember it like a lightning bolt, that feeling, that confidence that I don't need to battle for this freaking nonsense. Why do I want to battle this guy that I hate and he hates me? Just go, leave, be done. So I remember that feeling. Was it a similar moment?
Well, there's something I want to share with the people watching, but actually I want to kind of direct this at Matt to put it in his mind of, you're financially free as well, Matt, and you're still working. And I know you have a checklist of things of what you want to accomplish before you pull the plug too. Mm-hmm. But in a situation like Mike's, where you have a job, you're looking forward to retiring, you have a date, and then it gets bad enough and you realize, I mean, it literally dawns on you in the moment, I don't have to be here, right? Mm-hmm. I like my job. I like what we do. It's not a bad job. There's nothing that I like that's not about. I want time freedom. Time freedom is really what I'm retiring to. Mm-hmm. I walked away from $2 million golden handcuffs. I'm not just leaving a job that I hate or don't like. I'm leaving a job that I like, that had a powerful reason to stay. And it's great. The owners have always treated me really well. We have a contract where if the company ever sold and its evaluation is around 20 million, I would get 10%. So I'd get 2 million before the government took their part. as long as I work there. So quitting basically terminates that contract. Yes, if they sell within 2 years, the contract is still valid. But after that, if they sell, I don't get anything. Financial freedom is powerful enough to where I'm okay with that. So I'm not sure what you're waiting for. What's keeping you in your job, Matt?
I'm not okay with that.
You want your cake and eat it too? Is that what we're saying?
Huh? Yep. I'll take both pieces of cake. Thank you. This is what both pieces of cake looks like. So yeah, I mean, I think that, I think it's admirable what you did. I think that, I'm exactly the same way. I did not want to leave the company with things unfinished. None of them are multi-year projects. I will say that, they're all projects that are kind of winding down, and initiatives and idea shifts and moves. All of that stuff that's happening is not a multi-year thing. So I look at it as, 45,614 is very palatable, and I think that I've really enjoyed sending you the golden parachute, but at the same time too, I totally get it. I mean, that's the conversation I think that Ashley and I have more often than anything now, which is having, 3 kids, 4 years old and younger. And I know you're sending me a picture of the Pink Panther because I haven't gotten one today. So predictable, so predictable. But at the same time too, having, a 4-year-old, a 3-year-old, a 1-year-old, you don't have any of those at home. And so that's nice. But I'm retiring to diapers, and maybe I'm not the most anxious to do that because Ashley's really good at it and I do it in the off hours. So I think honestly for me, it's just wanting to finish off the stuff that I need to finish off, much like you. I'm pumped for you that you got that victory, because I know exactly what that's like. When everything's going sideways, you have no idea what the outcome is going to be. You have no control over it. But then you finally have that seminal moment where it's like, we got it. We got it. We're good. We're done. We're past the hump. We're now moving on. And so, my joke to you guys was, well, Mike left pissed, Dion left skipping in the parking lot. I'm just going to have to literally just pick a random day and go, today's the day, and probably give people heart attacks. So I think for me, it's challenging because the people that I report to, like you, Dion, the people I report to I would have done it Mike's way if I wasn't reporting to founders. I would have done it Mike's way in a second. I would have been just like, deuces, I'm out. See ya. Don't let the door hit you where the good Lord split you. I'm out. But because for you, much like me, I'm a high school dropout. They gave me a chance to get a bunch of letters in front of my title. I was a rep when I got here. Then I became a manager, then a director, then a VP, then a senior VP, then executive VP. Like I want to honor that because I've been doing it for 15 years, and I want to honor them and make sure that they have as much notice as possible. We've had general conversation about it, but yeah, I think that's kind of where there's a lot of similarities with how you and I work, because we work for founders. And while we've made the company a lot better than when we got here, it's making sure that everything's in place so there can be that transition. So it's really, what it does is it also brings focus to those items that need to be finalized. You had one main focus, which was you needed to make sure that this piece of the business got taken care of and done, and that you were over that regulatory hump. And I'm kind of in the same spot. I've basically got 2 of those things that I'm working on that I expect to close out in the next, 3 to 6 months, that I feel at that point, I can then have the conversation, say, let's talk about what that transition plan, really looks like. Because right now it's not something, we have enough on our plates that I want to focus on those 2 things and really nothing else. So that's why it's like, yeah, if I was working for one of the Fortune 1000 companies I've worked for before, yeah, deuces, I'm out. See you later, clowns. But not working for founders, because it's just very, very different. And I, like I said, the big thing for me is honor and respect. They gave me a shot when most other places wouldn't have. And I earned it, but they gave me a shot to keep it and to get it and to keep it. And, thankfully I've kept it for, 15 years.
Yeah, one of the things I think it's really remarkable by two of you is these decisions that both of you tackled show your character, right? Because you care about the founders, you have that relationship. They gave you a shot, but you don't have to do that, right? It's a free will environment, right, or whatever they call that. But that just shows you what kind of guys you are, and then of course what kind of guy I am. Just quit on a moment's notice. Like I'm out. I'm a little more emotional.
Yeah, but
I guess.
let's not cloud it. In all honesty, if I were working for a Fortune 1000 or Fortune 5,
Yeah.
I would walk in and say, deuces, I'm out, because I would just be like, nope, you'll figure it out. You'll just have to figure it out.
I'm replaceable in 48 hours.
Yep. And if it's a number that you need to choke on, I love it. Even better. But yeah, with founders, like they're real people. They gave me a shot. And honestly, it's to Dion's point, I would venture to say that probably as many truck driving schools as there are out there, there's probably very few that are run as well and led as well as Dion's, just based on what I know about him. And I think that that's really important, because I think that too often somebody thinks that there's no doubt that Dion's replaceable by a body.
Sure.
But it's probably 4 bodies.
Exactly.
And it's probably a lot of different individuals having to pick up the slack.
Mm-hmm.
And so I recognize that I'm not going to be replaced by a person. It's probably going to be 2 or 3. And they probably won't be as good as me at any of those things. Certainly not day one. They can over time. But there's, if everybody could shoot like Michael Jordan, the NBA would be pretty boring.
Yeah.
So I think that there are varied levels of people and their skills. And I think that Dion has it. You certainly had that in your job. I'm sure they found a way to muddle on and move on, but it wasn't without millions of dollars in costs.
They missed their number 8 quarters in a row. That's all I got to say.
This is all I'm saying. See, I didn't even know that. And I knew that.
Yeah. No, we hit the number every quarter I was there. I leave. They missed it 8 quarters in a row.
Yeah.
So that's really why I've been working for the last 4 years, is I want to make sure that when I'm not working, their next quarters are at least the same.
Yeah.
That they don't go down because I'm not there. So it has been taking aspects of what I do and training a person until they have that, and training another person until they have that.
Yep.
And people watching this that are getting close to, I've reached financial freedom, I'm probably going to quit my job and retire, are probably going to do what I've done for the last couple months. I went to YouTube, and instead of what am I trying to learn about real estate, because I'm trying to teach what I've done with real estate, I went there and looked for channels about the transition to retiring early.
Yeah,
I did that badly.
Yeah. Thankfully, I have way too much to retire to. I'm exhausted even thinking about it. I think the easier road is keeping the W-2. So yeah, I totally agree with that. I mean, that's one of the things that, in looking at the process, it's like, yeah, life is going to be different. One of the things that you started saying, Deanna, is retiring to something. I know that Mike struggled with that, and I think that's one of the things that he came up with too. And for me, it's the business is so big now. That was for me, I think why I needed it to be as big as I did, was because I didn't feel like it was big enough to really take up enough of my time at a smaller unit count. So at 117, it keeps me pretty busy.
Yeah, I think there's 2 things I wanted to ask you, Matt, before we kind of wrap this one up. Is it fair to say that you will not have your W-2 January 1st, 2024?
I won't have it January 6th, 2024. I don't have it January 1st. Okay. But yeah, I mean, I think that's, it would be not surprising to me. It would be disappointing to me, because it means that I wouldn't have gotten the things done that I think could get done.
Okay.
But at the same time too, I'm held to my responsibility of execution. And if for some reason others choose not to execute, that's all. Then there's nothing I can do about that. So I want to take very much ownership over my spot and making the plans that I have happen. Mm-hmm. However, I can't be responsible for not being able to hit the target if I have no ammunition.
Got it.
So that's where I have to kind of make that decision of, this is the plan, this is the path forward, this is what we're trying to accomplish. I believe that we can get there. And if we do, then it's a transition point for me, much like Dion was saying. Mm-hmm. And if we don't, then it's okay, now you're on the clock. Like, so this does need to happen, because just so you know, I'm Casper on, 1/1/24.
Got it. Okay. It makes total sense to me.
23.
And then Dion, something that I've admitted publicly and privately many, many times, when you quit emotionally in a moment, like literally a moment's notice, that's not a hell of a transition, right? For someone that's type A that probably worked an average of 75 hours for a decade,
Yeah.
including flight times, going to not do anything was almost disastrous. It was the only time in my life I was truly depressed. So what have you found? Because now you've set up where there's a clock, and I don't know, 90-day window, I'll just make it up, for the transition, the training. What have you found in your search on YouTube to help the transition be better than my horrible experience?
So two things mainly. The first one is knowing yourself. And this is funny. I please don't take this wrong. I have a ton of respect for both of you. We are not the same.
No,
no kidding. You're
No.
kidding, right?
No. Dion's taking more vacation this year than I have since I was 20.
Right. Well, I never took a vacation until I was 48. That was my first vacation. So
Yes.
here's a overshare for people watching. Up until the age of 40, I never really focused on finances. I let my spouse run the finances. And if you're familiar with my story at all, you know how that ended.
Well,
I love to read. I love to read fantasy books, not just, finance books. But when is the last time that the three of us, I mean, Mike, I'm not sure about your schedule before you started doing, 7 videos a day, but that we sat down, picked up a paper book and read. Like, I've read a ton of books, Audible, while I'm doing this task, while I've got all these things to do, but I can listen while I'm doing them. I know that my personality is I'm a gamer and I love to read. So Matt going, I want to grow my real estate business large enough to where it'll take up my time so that I can retire. Me, it was, I want to make sure my real estate business is small enough so that when I don't have to read again, I get the life I want, which is my nose in a book, my nose, my body sitting on a lake somewhere, reading a book, out in the middle of nowhere, gaming, doing something, not looking for work. It was time freedom for that. And then there's the YouTube channel, and this is where Matt got my quote. I get this from this channel called, his name is Joe Kuhn, Kuhn, and he retired at 54. He's been retired for 4 years now. And one of his big things that I really identified with was retire to something. And while I know my personality is, I would like to just relax and read books and play games and goof off with friends and family, but I want to have purpose too. And I'm finding that in helping people reach financial freedom. So I'm happy to be a part of the Three Amigos. I want my channel to grow. I want to figure out, if it's writing a book, if it's making a course, if it's doing something that takes, literally in 8 years, I could have retired from a really bad position, a lot of bad debt, not making a lot of money, 3 kids, single parent. To work is optional. I think I'm going to find, I am finding purpose in sharing that so that other people can duplicate it, whether they have I want to be Mike and Matt and grow a huge machine that you have property management, Mike, but Matt, it was so it could fill your time. Or if you're like me, and I know it doesn't seem like it, because for the last 10 years, it took focus and discipline and serious activity to grow the truck driving school, to grow the real estate portfolio.
Yeah.
But my character is very lazy. The motivation to be that active in the last 10 years comes from, I am flipping a switch.
Yeah.
Know thyself. Well, I can tell you a couple of things. First, I have every confidence that Matt will retire sometime in 2023. Won't go to 2024. I think he's going to get tired of the Pink Panther sleeping memes every single day until that day. Yeah, so that one right there, Pink Panther just chilling out every day Saturday. So I know that's coming. And then second, I personally, I saved that image too.
That's his response.
I have lots of those. Yeah. Yeah. I said to the graphic guy, I go, all right, we're going to need to do a few rude ones.
Yeah, exactly.
He's like, you can't post those on YouTube. I go, I don't need.
I'm not putting them on YouTube. I'm sending to some people that need to see this.
Exactly.
Yeah. And then the last thing to kind of wrap this up, Dion, I know you're in a little bit of transition. I know it probably hasn't truly sunk in yet. But I look forward to seeing what you have to do. Your heart is a teacher.
Yeah.
And what you've been able to do the last couple of years, kind of part-time, has been awesome.
Yeah.
I can't imagine your impact and reach in 6 months, let alone 12 months. So it's going to be fun to just witness and watch and clap from the sidelines. So Dion, I want to congratulate you on giving your retirement and moving forward. Folks in the comments below, please congratulate Dion. He is gracious enough to come back and reply to all the comments. So show him some love. Dion, where can people find you?
Right here on YouTube, Dion Talk Financial Freedom. I currently do my live streams Tuesdays at 4 p.m. Pacific. They generally go on as long as the questions do, but I think I'm going to have more time for more videos in the future.
Probably. And Matt, where can people find you?
Lumberjack Landlord on YouTube and on Instagram. And then my 3-hour live stream, 8:30 a.m. Pacific time on Sundays, 11:30 a.m. Eastern time. And we usually go to the questions stop too, in about 3 hours. It's a lot of fun. And for the record, the last book that I read cover to cover, I was 7, and it was called Good Sport, Bad Sport. So that's what I will not be retiring to do.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
Well, guys, thank you very much again, Dion. Congratulations. I'm so happy for you, but also for the finance world, because what you're going to bring from the teaching and leading by example in 8 years from a bad spot to being there's what people need to hear. They need to believe it's possible, and you're going to show them. So I look forward to it. Thanks, guys.
Thanks.
Yeah.